Hello there, I'm Knightlightnin.
And I'm WhoFartd.
And together we are
fartknightgamers.
Okay, for those new to the channel, we use bad language and offensive content. So if that is not your bag, baby, go to somebody else's YouTube channel.
And if you got kids in the room, remember, earmuffs.
Earmuffs, yes. And we're going to be discussing a brand new news that came as of the Discord server through Disney Sorcerer's Arena. So we're going to be discussing that and a bunch of other details. We're also going to be unveiling a new character to the game along with the kit. And for those interested in certain topics, check the description down below and you'll find the timestamps right there for what you're looking for. Okay, so today we have a special guest, Littlefinger, joining with us, who looks like he's joining us from the Shark Dimension. How you doing, Littlefinger?
How's it going? Doing all right, doing all right.
All right, all right, all right. Okay, so we're going to bring Littlefinger in on a specific discussion later in the video for to pick his expertise in a specific area of the game. But first, I want to go over what we just got wind of, which is this screenshot, which is from the Disney Sorcerer's Arena official Discord. And that is, we have new characters coming into the game. We have specifically 3 new Toy Story characters coming into the game. And first and foremost, what I want to go over is, WhoFartd, what is your opinion on this? Because I think you know mine, which I'll go into, but I want to hear your thoughts first.
So I'm all for more Toy Story characters as opposed to Frozen, because at least it's a movie that I actually care about and has had good characters, unlike Frozen, which has a magical moose, and that's about it in terms of usage. Or reindeer, or whatever you want to call him. He looks like a moose, so I'm going with moose. So obviously these are not vital characters. I would rather see like the piggy bank or the T-Rex to come in rather than Lotso and his kind of like gang of angry toys.
Right.
But I think that they're probably saving those other key characters for another rollout in the future, which does make sense. You know, from a monetary perspective, you want to bait somebody with, hey, look, it's Toy Story stuff, come by, and then all of a sudden they come back 2 months later and be like, hey, there's more cooler Toy Story stuff. Remember when you spent that money? We're going to offer you for a lot more. That's what I kind of think is going on here.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think they're, in terms of what they're doing, I think it's kind of cool that they're, I mean, I'm assuming these might have the villain tag, considering their role in the Toy Story 3 movie. So, I mean, that's kind of interesting. I guess my hang-up is that you have, what, close to 100 years of Disney content and, what, like 20-plus years now of Pixar content to pick from? Because here's the thing, right? Like, if we go over to the game, this is sorted by Toy Story. So there are already 5 Toy Story characters out of 75, right? We are getting in 3 additional Toy Story characters, okay? So that's 78 Toy Story characters. So in total, we're going to have 8 total Toy Story characters out of 78. So that means...
I was trying to figure out where you're getting 78 Toy Story characters from.
Yeah, that was my mistake. With these 3 characters, we're going to have 78 total characters in the game that are playable, 8 of which are Toy Story. So that means 10% of the characters in this game are Toy Story. Not to mention, let me just finish this tangent. That wouldn't bother me, but also there are 26 spells in this game, and we have Duke Kaboom, we have Bucket of Soldiers, and we have Wild Imagination and the Claw, okay? All of which are Toy Story. So again, we have 4 out of 26 15% of the spells in the game are also Toy Story. Now, I like Toy Story. I think it's great we're getting Toy Story content, but it kind of annoys me at the same time that 10% of the characters are just from Toy Story, and 15% of the very limited amount of spells in this game are also Toy Story. I think that's a little going overboard.
So I'll add in this. From my perspective going to this game, I expected to see representation of every Disney movie, and that hasn't happened yet. So even relatively recent movies like Tarzan has no representation, which is quite surprising. But if there's ever going to be an overpopulation of characters in a game in the Disney world, wouldn't it make the most sense to be one that has 4 movies in total? So that way they do represent a high percentage of the total movies released in the past 20 years in the Disney universe, whether it be Pixar or not. And additionally, to be honest, you only have 2 important characters released so far, Woody and Buzz. Zurg, look, I haven't seen the 4th one, I don't know, but Zurg plays almost no part really in the real storylines. Bo Peep is a minor character that's just kind of like there for female lead for Woody. And Jessie is his kind of sister who really doesn't play a vital part either. So you've got only 2 vital characters throughout. So it kind of makes sense that they've released 3 non-essential characters, and now they're releasing another 3 non-essential characters. It kind of follows the existing cadence.
I see what you're saying. I mean, I think people might take issue with whether Bo Peep or Jessie are major characters, but I mean, All
right, so let's put this way.
But you got I mean, again, in Toy Story, yes, there are significant characters, but in terms of like Disney period, that Woody and Buzz are the main characters.
Yeah, well, Littlefinger, name me your 3 favorite characters from the Toy Story universe.
Toy Story universe, the 3.
Top 3.
Cars would be 1, Lightning McQueen.
No. Just meaning from the Toy Story movies, not Pixar.
Oh, Toy Story movies. Woody, Buzz, and probably Rex.
Okay, there.
That would be it. And
I'd have to agree with that. So that's the reasoning why I say that they're less important characters. I'm not. If you ask everybody, it's going to be Slinky Dog. It's going to be.
I see him as a spell, not as a fightable character. I would see Rex more of a fightable character than a spell. Same thing as Mr. Potato Head, more of a spell than actual as a character.
Agreed. So that was similar thought process of those key characters they haven't addressed yet. So that's why I list the other ones.
Yeah, Mr. Potato Head would be a great spell. The spell would be called Fucked Up Face, where like you pick a character and you randomly stick his like finger where his eye is and his nose.
I was just thinking of the spell would be Got Your Nose, and it's just somebody running off with Mr. Potato Head's nose, and it just eventually explodes.
That would be cool.
It could be like the Headless Horseman, though, where he's chasing after the person and just goes straight through one line. But then that would be with RC, too, who is the car, actually. I only see them as hitting 3 characters in one row more than hitting the whole entire field. It would just be too much.
To me, RC is a straight-up spell. Like, that's exactly what you'd want for a spell.
Right, but I'm like, really? Another spell that's Toy Story? Can we get some diversity here? I mean, come on.
I think Beast would, from Beauty and the Beast, because all they have is one character, Gaston. That's it.
Yeah, well, I think that's going to be a future major release, and I think they're going to wait on that because it's you're not only missing Beauty, you're not only missing Beast, but there's also important secondary characters, and I might butcher the names. What was it? Chip the Cup, Mrs. Potts.
Right.
There's like a few key ones that have. Say it again?
Clocksworth, the clock guy.
Thank you. That's the one I couldn't remember. So I think that they're waiting on that. That's a future event, and this is kind of I don't want to call it a throwaway event because we'll touch upon why it's not a throwaway event, but it's almost like an afterthought event. If you were to initially just go like, oh, geez, a leader character who doesn't really lead, a stuffed baby, and one other character who's like minor in the scope of things. I don't even remember them from the movie. You're going to go, it's not really worthwhile. But why don't we jump into why we actually think that this is big?
Well, before we get to that, the one thing I want to point out is we're getting these three characters, Chunk, Big Baby, and Lotso. Only one of these is designated actually farmable that is said to come to one of the nodes, though, which is Chunk, which means we're probably going to get an event where you need Chunk, and through that, you need to unlock Big Baby, from which you probably get Lotso or something. So it might be like...
It'll be pretty similar to what we experienced with Lion King most recently.
Exactly.
Other than the sense that you'll be able to farm the Chunk as opposed to Rafiki has to be unlocked. So I think that kind of speaks to the fact that they're not putting a high priority on these characters, or want you not to put a high priority on these characters, because A, they're afterthought characters, and B, they're kind of making it harder to unlock Lotso, which will probably be the third tier, the Scar tier.
Yeah, I think you're right. Before we get into the possible game-changing news of this, which is in the middle of this, I'm going to jump to the end of this part where the campaign changes.
Oh, yes.
The only thing that really pisses me off about this is Chunk is replacing Sally on 3C, who I've been farming for like a week or two, and I'm still trying to unlock, and she's right here in 3C. Whereas, you know, to get her, I think you have, you have to get to 7C, which I haven't even unlocked, and 3-star it. I'm at level, 46 right now? So this is like way out of range for me. Yeah, you need to be level 57 to even begin this farming up here. So
let's touch upon one of the huge things, though, that also happened with this. Let's go back to our screen of the changes.
Sure.
So as much as that's a negative, the big thing we got, Hades is now farmable.
Yes, that is really cool. The fact that Hades is going to be on this node here, on 5C, that is really cool. I would like to farm Hades. I've been dedicating my tournament currency for Shan Yu, and I was maybe going to dedicate it to somebody else, but it's nice that I can kind of work on Hades in the interim and get him at least potentially close to unlocked, so then when I really want to go all in on him, I'll have a good chunk of that already knocked out. So that is really cool. Hopper's being replaced. Who cares? I mean, they're adding...
Well, no, I wouldn't go to who cares. Hopper's actually a viable, good damage character that I think a lot of people...
I haven't seen anybody run that guy. Maybe
I was going to. I can't reach her yet, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm one away from getting to try and...
Littlefinger, you for everybody to know, how long have you been playing this game? What, like 2 weeks?
3 weeks. 3 weeks in.
Okay.
3 weeks. I'm already up to level 33.
So, and on top of this, what made you dedicate to this game?
I tried the Star Wars game, which became very competitive. Took a lot of the fun out of the game. I went from there to Marvel Airstrike. Same thing. People spend money. Very competitive. Gets very time-consuming and not a lot of fun to enjoy with people who spend money to actually stay in the places that they're in. This, you don't really have to actually spend money. It's just more for an enjoyment. Also, the best benefit now that you get with this one is that to get diamonds, you actually could do third-party gameplay, which is a big advantage that I've been doing. I've probably consumed from all the games that I've played with them, I try to aim usually for the big ones of the thousands range.
You see, this is what I wanted to pick your brain about, and one of the reasons I really wanted you on today's discussion. We'll go on. Since we brought it up, we'll just go right into it. I think One thing that's interesting about you is you seem to have taken advantage of this feature in a way I just haven't. Like, I haven't even finished one offer yet. Like, I tried playing the Star Trek Fleet Commander game, and I'm like, all right, I'm a Star Trek fan. I've watched quite a number of Star Trek shows, and I know a good bit about it. But, God, man, that was like the worst game I may have ever played in my entire life. And it seemed like it didn't take me 10 hours, but it felt like 10 hours to get to like level 3 or 4. And I
got to second that. I tried that game, and I didn't even get to level 3 or 4. I just went, I can't spend my time on this piece of crap.
I got to level 5.
Yeah.
But
like you
all of us, at some point in time, actively watch Star Trek.
Yeah.
And I know that Knight is a big Star Trek fan. So you've got to make a truly terrible game to make Star Trek to this group look bad.
Dude, the graphics, like the way they design the regular character graphics is fine, but the entire battle system and the building of stuff, it's brutal.
Now, don't get me wrong. Klondike, I've started playing. It is a terrible game. It does not have redeeming factors. But yet, it's still better than the Star Trek game, which should tell you everything you need to know, that I say it's a terrible game that I don't want to play, and I'm choosing to play that instead of the Star Trek game that gives more gems.
So, Littlefinger, you've been essentially really working these games, these side games, the side game hustle, so to speak, for like a week or two. Let me just ask you, if you were to guess, how many gems do you think you've been able to acquire
throughout the whole time?
Games?
Through total?
Yeah.
27,000.
Holy shit. See, I knew as soon as I invited you to play this game, you were going to find a way to like completely break this, because honestly, even if I had like all day to play these, and I know you have like a regular job, you don't have all day to play either,
No.
But you have this like superpower to just find a game and just find a way to dedicate to it and just, start kicking total ass right away.
But you got the picture I sent you of the last one with the 2,300 diamonds that I got.
Yeah, I mean, you're going. I'm about to finish. The one game I found that is fun, that I'm not terrible at, is the Disney emoji game. That is not painful to actually play. I've actually enjoyed that.
How much is that one worth?
$740.
The fact that you just know that off the cuff is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that's only that you have to get to. I believe it's level 10.
Okay.
But once you follow all the missions, it levels up pretty quick.
Right.
But that's the other thing. With the farm game, it was you level up to level 5 almost as soon as you start. So you start from 1. As soon as you do a couple of things, you get tons of experience and get to level 5. The only painful part is probably from level 10 to just get the extra 2 more points to unlock 2,000 diamonds.
Agreed. That's what I'm going through right now. I just hit level 10, and...
What's the name of the farm game? Is that the Klondike game?
Klondike.
Yeah.
That's Klondike? Okay.
And it's painful because you run out of currency if you're playing the game properly, just as part of what it tells you to do. And then you're just spending your time farming and just waiting out time. And it's not skill. There is no skill to the game whatsoever.
There's no cheating. There's no shortcuts.
Whoever designed this game, and I don't mean to bash, but has no sense of what fun is.
Mm-mm.
It's like, do you like grinding for like who you do grinding as a means to an end? Like, but it sounds like I have not played it yet, but that sounds pretty brutal. So, Littlefinger, let me ask you, from your experience so far, because you've been able to, honestly, the speed at which you have unlocked characters, like, what is he dropping like hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in this game? But then you start showing me all these pictures of the gems you've been getting, and I'm like, oh wow, like he's really like taking advantage.
10,000 at one point, and then yeah.
So let me ask you this: if you were to say, give people advice of like 3 to 4 games or offers here that people might want to take advantage of, what would you say are the ones you would suggest other people use?
I would pick basically the ones, even if it says that, you know, the ones that have more expensive diamonds, it's a lot more dedication. So I would consider going for something in, whether it's 700, you know, 500, after a while, they all add up. Take them, they're short. Soda Crush, Candy Crush, Cookie Jam, level 100. If you're really like strategic games, it's quick, it's easy to level up, it's easy to move. Those are the 3 quick games that I would actually refer to actually get like 750, 1,422 diamonds. It's
oh wait, it's Cookie Jam, and what were the other 2?
Cookie Jam, you get 1,422.
Okay.
Soda Crush, but Cookie Jam, it's level 100. Soda Crush is level 100. You get 845. And there was another soda one. That one you got, I think, 950. All level 100s. So I mean,
again, folks, take it from us. Littlefinger is really good at this stuff. But so you may have to skew this a little differently for yourselves, and I know I would for myself. But let's say, take Soda Crush as an example. How long did it take you from the time you installed the game to when you how many hours of time do you think it took you from when you installed Soda Crush to when you finally got the gem benefit?
Well, I try to do every night I try to do a certain amount of levels to hit in the game. So usually I try to aim for either 25 levels, and then I stop in that day. Hopefully, maybe if I feel like I'm flying through it in less than an hour, if I'm at level 55, I'll say I'm good for the night. The next night, I'll try to aim for 75, and the next following time I said, you know what, I'm getting the diamonds.
Right. How many games are you playing per night?
Usually I try to go for 2 games, aside from the Disney game. But one of them is usually a small diamond payout, 500. The other one's usually like 1,000 to 2,000 I'm going for. But I also look at what the requirements are for the game. If it says like, oh, you have to get level 19 and it's like an RPG, you have to think, is it really, you look at it, you open it up, you can even look at the pictures if you want. The graphics are not always going to tell you what's there. It could be a shitty-ass graphics as soon as you open it up, which then you're telling yourself, listen, even if it's 2,000 diamonds, it's not worth my time.
So here's the question. Have you gone over to any of the pay offers? Have you joined Manscaped yet for 4,000 gems?
No. What is that? Is that boring?
No, you have to buy stuff, or it's one of the offer ones where you have to like sign up for a service.
No. I won't do any of those. No, those are scams.
Oh no, I'll say this.
Buy a shirt, and we'll give you 750 diamonds. Sure.
The Dollar Shave Club is probably not a bad value, depending on like how thick you get in terms of stubble. I think that's about the only one that might be worthwhile. Because
how much are they offering for diamonds for that one?
What's up?
How much are they offering on diamonds in that one?
2,500. I know a few people who subscribe to Dollar Shave Club. So.
Well, I mean, I get Dollar Shave Club, you know,
so then you
but I only get the dollar razors.
Gems.
Well, WhoFartd? Let me ask you this, because you're definitely more of a financial wizard, but if is your sense, for example, if let's say you wanted to spend $10 in this game to get a certain amount of gems, for example, is it better to spend $10 in the game? Or is it better to spend $10 on an incentive through the Earn Gems store
So
to maybe get more or less or get the same with a benefit? What's your sense of things?
So I think right now there's a potential arbitrage situation in the sense that there are certain offerings that will cost you in the $10 to $20 range for said products. So let's take Dollar Shave Club.
Right.
You have to subscribe for one of their customized boxes, but I still think it comes out to about $20.
Okay.
Now, the amount of gems you get is equal to or slightly better than what you would have gotten with $20 if you had just gone and bought gems.
Interesting.
So, to that point, I can shave comfortably for a month or so and save money on gems. That's a dual win. Now, not all these offers are the same, but there's a few out there. And like, for example, okay, HelloFresh. I might sign up for HelloFresh. So I might as well do it in here anyway and get the benefits. So there's a lot of products in here that I think people need to look through that they might already be doing as part of their day-to-day. Perfect example, Littlefinger with Dollar Shave Club. Maybe there's somebody here who uses Manscapes. Maybe there's somebody who's doing HelloFresh. Or those are the only ones that kind of like I can think of offhand. But products that actually have value, plus there's additional value.
So Littlefinger, I know there was one instance or two instances where you completed the action, but you didn't actually get credited, so you had to submit a ticket. But from what you were telling me of the story, you don't actually submit those tickets through Disney Sorcerer's Arena. You have to submit it
it's
through
a third-party member.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a company that does for a lot of games. Just the background. I believe their name is Tapjoy. They do this for various games, and they give you whatever their in-game currency is. So the way it really works in the background is whoever the partner is agrees to pay Tapjoy a certain amount of money. Let's just say $10 for a particular offer, and it's much less than that, but I'm just using this as an example. Let's say it's $10.
Right.
Tapjoy says, hey, I can bring you people to your game. Give me some free currency for this, or I'll cut you in on $2. So Tapjoy keeps $8, acts as the intermediary, builds the system, and just says, hey, I'm just going to plug in like an API on your back end, and just let me do that. And after a certain while, we'll push you a notification whenever there's supposed to be X currency credited. So in all of this, Disney actually gets shorthanded on these offers more than the people who are providing the offer and Tapjoy. They both end up in the more advantageous place, while Disney is essentially selling gems at a discount to Tapjoy.
Right. So I appreciate you breaking it down for us, WhoFartd. So Littlefinger, it sounds like from your experience, your takeaway is rather than go for the really expensive things that are giving you all the big gems, look at the smaller ones, and from what you said,
it adds up.
Knock those out and just start accumulating a little bit, but a lot of those will add up for you.
It adds up in the end. I've had over 12,000 after just playing all the small ones. And that was just 12,000 small ones hitting.
That's amazing.
No subscriptions for things, just pure games.
That's awesome. Okay, let's go back to this Discord thing and the official news. Because there's 2 points we haven't gone over yet. The first is Grand Campaign changes. Tally and Marita and Hopper are being added to the Grand Campaign. This is interesting. I mean, I like when something's added to the Grand Campaign, but I'm always I sigh because there's so many characters I want to farm from Grand Campaign that it's just overwhelming. And refreshing Grand Campaign is so expensive each day that I find it hard to I mean, even though you can farm a good bit of it each day, I mean, spending 300 gems for your refreshes, it really adds up, and it really hampers you from
Completely agree.
Use that for other things.
What people often don't realize with Grand Campaign is this is the scarcest energy in the game because you don't accumulate it as quickly as you do with your regular villain hero energy.
Right.
And on top of it, there's so many characters that are exclusive to Grand Campaign that it's not like you can feel there's enough energy to go around, while your elite energy can spread around a lot easier. So I think that the addition of things to Grand Campaign is nice, but it's detrimental when you move a character off of an elite campaign, whether heroes or villains, and then you move them exclusively to Grand Campaign, because the average beginner is going to first focus on Aladdin, then focus on a heavy hitter, depending on who you wanted. Or if you love Frozen, you're going to focus on the Frozen characters, and then you're going to start looking at the additional characters. So Sally, for example, falls way on the far side of my farming priority.
Right.
I just finished Aladdin. I'm just about done. I literally have one shard left on Big Bad Wolf, and Sven or Kristoff, whichever one's the moose, comes next.
Sven.
Okay.
I have kids, man. I have to watch Disney, all our cars all the time.
That's hilarious.
I watch Disney left and right, man. I actually have, for right now, I have unlocked Sven. He's 2-star. I have unlocked, I think on Saturday of this past week, I unlocked Kristoff. I just started him to 4 stars now, since I was using the diamonds left and right, as well as farming him and doing the refreshes. And I have unlocked Olaf. I am 9 away from getting Anna.
Okay. I'm sitting a little different. I have not focused on Olaf or Anna at all. I've just been focusing on Sven, Kristoff, the moose, and the dude. And here, let me bring him up. Frozen.
Yeah, because you're looking for the wilds benefit primarily.
Exactly. So I have Kristoff will be 5-star by tomorrow. Sven is 3 stars. I'm working towards it. And then otherwise, I only have 12 shards of Anna, 8 shards of Olaf. And I somehow have 10 shards of Elsa, right? That's her name? Yeah. I don't know how I got those.
Now, WhoFartd, how did you, Sven, is he actually the Grand Arena, or is he actually Yellow Energy?
Sven is the Grand Campaign.
So he's Grand. So that means Anna, him, Olaf are all Grand farmable.
But Anna is available through your tournament currency. So that's one thing that gives you an option.
That's what I do use. Yes, that's true.
So I don't use it because right now I'm starting to stack. So I just finished Shan Yu, 7-starring him. So I'm hoarding energy again to use towards Hades, because I believe there's an incoming mystical event, and Hades being the best mystic character in the game, I think will be vital.
Yeah. All right. So let's get back to what we were just discussing. Okay. Getting back to this Discord news. Okay, so getting back to this Discord news. The major thing that's very small here, and it's kind of sandwiched between all this other stuff, is a really big deal, actually, which is this statement. All 3 characters of the Toy Story that are coming in have increased strength in Club Conquest mode. So these 3 new characters coming in are going to be given steroids during Club Conquests. So more powerful clubs are definitely going to push for their members to unlock these characters. And it sounds like if everything else is equal, but one club has these 3 characters unlocked and another doesn't, it sounds like it might be game over. What do you think, WhoFartd?
This scares me because this is a slippery slope, and this was something that destroyed Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes and has destroyed a lot of the games. Pay to play is a very important balance that needs to be with free to play, where you agree that, okay, if you pay, you get a slight advantage, and you should. But it shouldn't be a huge advantage. Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes lost me, lost you, and I'm assuming Littlefinger also similarly, that you spending some money in the game. Okay, if you love it, I can see it. But when it becomes you have to spend money to just stay competitive, that's what games get destroyed. And good games wait to do this until the end, when they're on that, when they've passed that their peak, and they're about halfway on their downward ascent.
Right. You see, what's surprising?
A slippery slope.
Yeah. To your point, the timing of this is odd because when Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, they used to have that. When the guild, I forget the mode, is when the guilds fight each other, right? It was the territory wars, I think, or
territory war. Yes.
Okay, so they took a faction like First Order and artificially pumped up their stats just for that mode, and then they had they eventually turned it to a shtick where they would do that to random factions every time, which is interesting. But one of the reasons they did that with First Order was that those characters as a team were pretty much, when that came out, when they made that adjustment to Territory Wars, First Order was pretty much entirely useless in every single aspect of the game.
So that's what I'm hoping, is that these characters are pieces of crap. Like, literally, they are the, what was the most terrible guy in Star Wars? I'm forgetting his name.
Cup.
Cup, thank you.
Coruscant Underworld
Yes.
Police.
I'm hoping this is the Cup of this game. And the only reason that they're putting this in there is because they're kind of trying to bait you, be like, oh, this guy's good in one scenario. Otherwise, your friends will laugh at you if you have them on your team.
Right. It's weird because, you can't. How good could you make these characters like it? Because if they're extremely good, let's say they're A or S tier characters, and then you pump them up during this game mode, they're going to be unstoppable. Or they're pseudo mediocre or not that great, in which case they become normalized for Club Conquest. That's why the decision to do this for newly created characters is weird. For example, if they had said something like Darkwing Duck and Tinkerbell and say pick another character that people like and relate to and want to be stronger but just are not in this game, and say, yeah, they're pumped up for the purposes of Club Conquest, I would get that. It would be really cool if, hey, yeah, that guy who was Darkwing Duck at 7 stars can't do anything in PvP arena, but when it comes to Club Conquest, he or she
exactly. I would do this with the characters that are classic Disney characters that just don't have good kits. So I think Tinkerbell, you hit the nail on the head with that. Captain Hook, those are the characters that you should be using for this. You shouldn't be introducing new characters with this. Merida, or whatever her name is, the orange-haired archer. Yzma. These characters that are already a staple in the game, but are pretty much bad unless you have them super pumped up, and then they're just
you could say basically if you were a television show Disney character in the 90s, you just get your stats increased.
Okay, I got to ask one question. Maybe I'm forgetting. Why does Monterey Jack have a little bug with him?
That is Zipper. He's like one of the Rescue Rangers.
Okay, I guess it's been
And
so
I know
long
this
since I
because my
watched Rescue
son has
Rangers.
been watching Chippendales on Disney Plus.
What was
Okay, first of all, Matt, we know you're not watching the cartoon version of Chippendales.
He's watching it from Pornhub.
Littlefinger, I think you know something about Chippendales and ripping one's pants off.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, I think you had a mustache like Monterey Jack there. And speaking of mustaches, we have a theory. And moving on to the fake news segment of this channel, the theory is that this new incoming character is actually the reason how or why more Toy Story characters are coming into this game, because only this can explain it. And this character is this guy right here, Ronstache Woody. Now, he looks like regular Woody. He talks like regular Woody. He has the same mechanical device, but WhoFartd, talk to me about what makes Ronstache Woody so special.
First of all, in the great tradition of the terrible mustache from the 1970s that was inspired by the likes of John Holmes to Ron Jeremy to Ron Burgundy, you have Ronstache Woody.
Yeah,
so,
yes, correct.
Even beyond the fact that he looks badass with the stash, you almost have to take him more seriously than before.
You do. He's sophisticated. He throws his weight around. He probably throws a few other things around.
He's the Tom Selleck of Toy Story now.
He's slinging something for sure.
He stay classy. Toy Story, and tosses a little drink with his little dog.
Exactly. And you'll notice Ronstache Woody actually has the same moveset names as regular Woody. Now, WhoFartd, you pointed out to me earlier that Ronstache's, how should we call it, performance name, Ronstache Woody, really wouldn't have to change his performance name to be a particular type of performer, because Woody just works.
Exactly. Woody is the perfect name for a man with that type of stash, what he would do for work.
Yeah, I mean, Woody symbolizes quite a few things. So I like the fact that he kept his basic as plasma goo. So Littlefinger, talk to me about what you think this plasma goo looks like.
I could only imagine.
What does it taste like? That's what I really want to know.
I don't know.
You could tell me.
What would you think? Would it be a spearmint? Would it be like a peppermint flavor? Maybe like a chocolate fudge?
So WhoFartd, his first special is called Yeehaw. Talk to me. Is this an excited utterance?
Okay, everybody will jump to conclusions. And no, this is not what happens when you give a mustache ride.
Well, here's the thing. His second special, Snake in My Boot. The question is, where does a snake have to initially start to end up in your boot?
Or, question, what type of snake are we talking about?
Correct. The kind of snake that slithers around, the kind of snake that vibrates, that can it swallow small animals?
One can only hope.
One can only hope.
Well,
send out
I'll tell you, Knightlightning. The one thing that definitely sends me very curious is the third move called Send Out the Troops. Now, I'm wondering, is he actually meaning that with Jessie, that he's definitely sending out the troops to her, or is he actually just going to have a special move, call it I Got Wood?
You see, I think sending out the troops is definitely part of how we keep getting all these Toy Story characters just dropping out of the air, because I think in Toy Story 5, we're going to find out that Woody is actually the father of all of the other toys.
Or are
So
we talking
turn out
about
the
Buffalo
truth
Soldiers is all of Woody's children?
Yes, I really think so. And if you think about it, in the movie, he's shown to be a very kind of vintage kind of toy. And this may be how Woody originally looked.
Well, they respect him. I mean, so there's a good thing why they listen to him, and I'm pretty sure it's because he's not just a father figure. I'm pretty sure he could be, if they ran the DNA and put him on, Springer, you are the father.
Could one say that he was laying wood?
Yes.
To the other characters?
Yes. In fact, when they take your DNA test and you're positive, they say, sir, I hate to break it to you, but yes, you have wood.
You should have stuck with Buzz, but staying in the spacesuit.
You know what? Why do you think Buzz got a face shield?
Oh. And if there was ever a wonder of, like, we're teetering on that line, we just leaped over it with that one.
Okay, so this is the thing. Ronstache Woody, I think, has been sleeping with the devs, because that is the only explanation with how you have 8% of your characters and like 15% of your spells are your are Toy Story, and you still manage to keep just pumping Toy Story in there. I mean, you just keep slamming Toy Story into this game. You just keep
that's what Woody's doing. Oh yeah,
Toy Story characters. And I tell you, Ronstache Woody definitely must be doing something up there with the development team to make them want to keep giving these, shall we call, fringe benefits to Disney Sorcerer's Arena. It is now not even Disney Sorcerer's Arena. It is Disney's Toy Story Arena at this point.
So, do we speculate what Woody's roundup really is?
He's rounding up all those chicks.
Well, Woody's roundup definitely involves rope.
Is that his cock?
And we reach back over that line.
And by cock, we mean the rooster.
We were subtle up until about 5 seconds ago.
Well, Woody has been known,
earmuffs.
As a cowboy. Woody has known a few cowgirls, and cowgirls specifically.
So, would you say that he has a stable that he regularly calls upon?
I think the screaming must come from somewhere.
He does have a horse.
Oh, Jesus.
And we've gone back over that line again.
What's the horse's name from Toy Story?
The what?
What's the horse's name from Toy Story? Does anybody remember?
I can't remember the name.
Trigger?
Well,
I think it was Trigger.
It's
but
Trigger.
You know what? For
Trigger.
those of you who are into bestiality, that's where the horse is from.
Wow, this went. Oh, boy, wow. Well, I gotta tell you, Littlefinger, you fit right in here, in my opinion.
For kids that are learning things, do not learn from us anymore.
For
it's
one,
terrible.
Knight is not the one crossing the line. Littlefinger has taken over that role officially and removed all subtleness to this video.
Yeah,
I am sorry, kids.
This is why we have disclaimers at the beginning of the video.
Maybe we need to, with Littlefinger on here, maybe we need to add one at the end.
Oh, God. Let me tell you. All right. So, any final thoughts on these new incoming characters or changes as far as what's going on? What's coming up next? So,
I have one big one that we haven't touched upon that I waited to the end.
Okay.
Could you go back to the screenshot of the alert that we received?
Yes. Here we go.
Go all the way to the bottom.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Node 6B, none. You would only make that blank if something big is going to do there. In no other release have they blanked out an existing node.
Interesting. Wow.
Why would you do that unless you're saving that spot for something big?
That
because
is
otherwise
interesting.
you would have waited on it. I think
I agree.
This is a subtle hint.
Yeah, and I agree.
When is this coming out?
I would guess the next 24 hours. Usually when they release these things, it's very quick.
Yeah,
like
they just marked it. It's not out yet, but usually it's I'd say by like tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
I would think that the pictures of the characters would be out and released, but I would say another like 2 days for people to prep and set up for any kind of leveling of characters that I would probably require, like Downtown Heroes.
So the question is, if this is the spot they're reserving for ronstache Woody, it's the picture, just a picture of the mustache.
Yeah, I have not unlocked more than Buzz for Toy Story yet, but I would definitely go I would abandon my finishing Aladdin to go hardcore ronstache Woody for sure. I do think, just to notice they made Hades and Sally. They added Hades to a regular node, and they've added Sally to Grand Campaign. So I think they're giving us hints that mythical characters are definitely going to be used for something. And I really believe, I'm going to double down on this right now. Either in a few weeks, we'll find out if I'm correct or dead wrong. My guess, mythical characters are going to be used for speed crystals. I'm calling it right now.
I completely agree with you on that. I see that as coming, and speed crystals are going to be the most important in this game. I don't think anybody who has not already experienced a similar game knows how much speed matters. Speed matters more than damage, because the more turns you get, the more chances you are to unlock your better abilities or to refresh and respawn your special moves. And on top of it, it allows you to get your spells out quicker. It's a difference maker across the board. So I think mythical will be what's needed for speed, and speed will be the area that you want to save your games.
Exactly.
You want to save your gems.
Exactly.
So Littlefinger, don't spend your gems for a while. You're going to want to save them on the speed crystals.
Absolutely, and that's why, honestly, I haven't gone all in on wilds. I'm really cautious. I'm using some characters who are mythical characters as side projects now, just slowly getting their nodes as they come, so that when they announce what mythical is required for, because we already know it's good for Tower 5. You need them. So we're looking at end game content, and the devs are definitely going to want speed crystals to be more for end game players or people willing to shell out money for it. So, okay, all right. I think this is a lot to digest. We got a lot, and we'll definitely see if we're dead right or dead wrong. But WhoFartd, Littlefinger, thank you for joining me on this channel, and we will catch everybody next time. And for those watching, please subscribe to our channel. And if you have any suggestions, definitely throw your comments down there.
And if you have any more special guests that you would like to see, please mention it. We've had Littlefinger. We've had the My Little Pony Experience, a.k.a. Dan Cool. Who's next?
All right. Take it easy, guys.
See ya.